The Restaurant App Maker is an application that we will build together based on the restaurant app I introduced earlier. It generates a custom application for a specific restaurant. Unlike the restaurant app, which is pretty standard and for which we could derive inspiration from existing apps, this is a relatively fresh idea. There aren't many app makers out there, and the few that are in the market are web based. So we need to design something without any PSD and still have something that looks reasonably good. When we are faced with a task like this, the solution is deconstruction. I break the problem into smaller, manageable problems and attack each one individually. The best place to start is the user interface. Even though we don't have a design, it helps to visualize a problem before we get to the implementation details, and UI is a great place to start. This is the first page of details that the restaurant app will need within it. So we'll need to build an app that accepts all of this information and some of the information from the next page. Notice that this is only a partial list, and some of the things here like color scheme or font can be pretty challenging. This is a mock-up design I created after looking at several app maker sites. I understood most of them use a tabbed based UI, so that's where I started. I took the information that we need from the list of items and placed it into the app. The thing is that this was a bad direction. Once I drew that, it became relatively clear that this isn't what I want. I left it because I think it's useful for you to see the path I took to reach the end result. The other issue is the boring details stuff. One of the most important things for any app is a first impression. It's crucial that the first screen of the app looks good by default and keeps users engaged. Otherwise, they might skip the app entirely. Opening with the details makes sense for a developer, but doesn't make sense from a user interface design standpoint. This is my second attempt. The elements on the left are the side menu elements. The core design is inspired by material design with the floating action button and toolbar elements. Dishes use the material design grid design and focus on the food image. This is important as pictures sell. A lot of the more complex details have default values, so a user can launch the app and instantly see his custom app in action with almost no work. To see the app, you can just press the play button, which will preview the app locally. A lot of the elements in the title are editable. You can edit the title background using the edit background, and this will impact the final app. Both the title and tagline are text fields and can be edited in place. I considered making the dish editable in place, but eventually decided to have a separate form to edit it, as we can go into a lot of details. For the new dish, edit dish form, I drew inspiration from material design again. I used a gradient so the title will be readable on top of the dish image, and used the material design floating action button that is placed on the border of the title. The reason for that placement was so we don't click delete dish or the description by accident. The camera button is meant as a generic action to pick an image, not necessarily through a camera. I chose to enable delete through here as it removes clutter from the main form.